guys, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Isabella and happy release week to everything I couldn't say. So today's video is going to be quite customary, I feel like, to a lot of release week videos on YouTube, and that is how much did I spend to self-publish this book. Oh my goodness, the lighting is absolutely terrible. This is probably why I should not have gone for the glossy color. So I did kind of break this up into like actual book production costs and the marketing costs. Also, I'm going to move a little bit so that I can like put the total and numbers on this side of the screen. Okay, so I have my laptop with me and I already did all the calculations. So I'm just going to go through the whole list, almost like a rapid fire kind of situation. So for the actual book production costs, I only had to spend money on my cover, my dividers for the poems, and basically this is what they look like. This is ridiculous, this lighting. I apologize so badly. So this is what the dividers look like. I probably should fix the lighting situation, but I also don't know how to. But I needed to spend money on my cover, the dividers, and for my cover I literally, this lighting is gonna kill me. For the cover, all I had to spend money was for my paperback wrap, as in like an illustration situation, and I actually did the typography, so that, this and that, and then the blurb and this little logo I did by myself. So all I did was pay for the illustration. And of course, because I am self-publishing, I wanted to have my own ISBNs. So for my paperback, that is one ISBN, and then for my ebook, that's another ISBN. And I got them in bulk for 10, and that was $88. But because I'm a new self-publisher in Australia, I also had to pay an establishment fee, which was $55. But I'm not counting that as part of this book release, or like this book production in general, because that is just like a general one-time administration fee, and that kind of like is a business expense but not really a book expense, if that makes sense. Now the next biggest expense I had when it came to my book production, I suppose, was the proof copies. So in Australia, particularly in New South Wales where I live, we have something called legal deposits, where you basically have to deposit your book in like an archive library situation. So for me, as a self-publisher who doesn't publish like non-fiction, I have to deposit legally to the State Library of New South Wales, the Parliamentary Library of New South Wales, and the University of Sydney, and then the National Deposit, which is to the National Library of Australia. So that is basically like 4 books. Also, depending on how you want to deposit to the National Library, I'm going to do an e-deposit, which is where I submit the ebook. First of all, my biggest expense was definitely my cover. So as you can see, this is what the cover is. It's actually a gradient, but like the glossiness is making it hard to tell. This isn't meant to be like a statement picture, and we just have a border. And I got that done for like both sides, and then another like gradient kind of thing for the spine. And that was $154.20 just to get the illustration, which I know is probably pretty cheap considering industry standards. The next expense I had when it came to illustration was the dividers, and that cost $30.53 to get this illustration, which I ended up formatting all myself, and also I ended up doing the typography situation as well. It may seem a bit strange why there are no editing or formatting costs. Formatting I did all by myself in Microsoft Word and on Draft Digital for my ebook, but for editing, I originally was planning on hiring an editor. However, I also have editorial skills as well from however many years I have actually spent studying all these like different types of copy editing, developmental, and proofreading. My favorite and my strongest skill set is definitely in proofreading. When it comes to developmental edits, I just use beta readers, and my critique partner Talia is also one of my biggest assets when it comes to developmental edits, so I don't really feel the need to hire any developmental editors. And for copy editing, I have spent quite a few years developing that skill that I feel confident enough to copy edit my own work. And also when it comes to poetry, the wording is really important. So it's not really about like the length of your poem. Sometimes it's more like how impactful are the words that you're choosing to put into your book. So some of my poems will look a bit like this. They might be really long or really short, and then some go on for many pages. But that's the only reason why there are no editing or formatting costs involved when it came to book production. The next cost we had are our ISBN numbers, and I only spent $17.60 to publish this book. My proof copies, because I had to order all the legal deposit proofs, a personal proof copy, and I was doing these little boxes for my friends, I ended up ordering 10 books, and with shipping included, that was $72.75 in total. So the actual book production cost in total, including the cover, dividers, ISBNs, and proof copies, was $275.08. So if we're just going to consider that cost only to produce the book, to break even, if I make $5.05 back in my currency as AUD, I need to sell either 55 paperback copies or 172 ebooks. Okay, so for my marketing part of this book, I created these little boxes or packages, whatever you want to call them, and I was giving those to my friends. And this is where majority of my money went. So if we don't really include this, all it cost to publish everything I couldn't say was $275.08, which is pretty good for a debut book. And also considering it's poetry, I feel like that fits within like industry standards of how much you should realistically be spending on publishing this book. When it came to the marketing, I don't think my budget of $100 really survived very quickly. I think I quickly went over budget. And at that point, I just gave up and I just wanted to like have fun because it was going to be a one-time thing. I was never going to do it again. So I just wanted to enjoy it and just like make it a memorable experience for my friends as well when I gave them the books and packages. So like I said earlier, I had to order 10 proof copies and 5 of those went into the packages because they were for 5 different people. But also in those packages were some crystals. How cute and simplistic they were. So I knew I wanted to include this in the packages, even though I feel like this was such an unnecessary cost. But the crystals were $36 total. And then I needed to buy these extra things, so drawstring bags to like put stickers and like keyring that I ended up making. That was $2.95 for, I think it was a pack of 20. My bookmarks, including the design and the actual production, was $26.76. My stickers were the most hefty expense, and that was $85.85, including design and production. My pens that I created, that was honestly a really random thing. I probably did not need to use them, but it was that will pay like $100 for shipping. So I wasn't really interested in paying $100 for shipping. So I ended up creating pens as well, and that was $19.90, including design and production. And then obviously I had to order the boxes. That was $14.07, and that came in a pack of 5. So that was pretty good. And also they were on special at the time as well. So I feel like that definitely helps, because if there wasn't, it would be a lot higher. Just to get like the keyring frame in general, I had to pay $3.56. I ended up creating the keyring on Microsoft Word and then just printing them out and putting them into the frame. To order everything, that was $76.83. The total marketing cost was $265.96. So basically only almost $10 less than the actual cost to produce this book, which honestly shocked me when I calculated everything. My total cost for the book and marketing, that ended up being $541.04. So I feel like overall it wasn't terrible. To break even, if we're including marketing costs, I need to sell 108 paperbacks or 339 ebooks. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit regarding the pricing and why I have to sell a lot less paperbacks than ebooks, because there is quite literally like a 200 book gap. My pricing when it comes to my ebooks is $3.99 or $4 depending on like your country, but basically it's the same price, $4 for my ebook. And that is like, I guess, industry standard pricing from what I have seen personally recently. So I just gonna apply the same amount and like principle behind my ebook. So I only earn $1.60 my currency for my ebooks. So of course it's gonna be a lot more, and it's gonna be a little more expensive when it comes to publishing and making that money back if I only did the ebooks. But when it comes to my paperback, as I said earlier, I make $5.05 in Australian dollar. And just to, I guess, simplify that, I ended up needing to sell 108 of these just to break even. So we shall see how that goes. But other than that, that is how much I spent and the break even point I need to hit just to make my money back for publishing everything I couldn't say. This video is actually going to be going up, I think, as the first video of release week. So that means tomorrow is going to be release day. And I'm so excited. Thank you so much for following me along on this journey. And I'll see you in the next one, and whatever tomorrow's video is, because I have no idea what the next video is going to be since I'm pre-filming most of these. So until then, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy release week, and yeah, goodbye.